Hey everyone, and welcome back to Prairie Grown Reviews. We review books, games, movies, and TV shows. And today we are back for The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 1. Oh wait, I mean the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6, 5.
Episode 5. Almost botched that. Good job, Seth. Good job. Well done.
Yeah. So to get into it, Nat, do your thing.
Man, he's so quiet today. Wow, what a change. But anyways, usual spiel. Please like and subscribe if you're interested in our content. Videos come out weekly, either Wednesdays or Thursdays, depending what time we film. But that's a behind the scenes type of thing. After Book of Boba Fett, we'll have some other, I guess, experimental videos. Maybe you guys will like that. So stay tuned for that. And then after that, I think Moon Knight is coming out after like
March 31st,
5 weeks, somewhere around there.
March 30th.
If you're interested in our thoughts for that stuff, also subscribe to our channel, hit that bell for notifications. Podcast stuff, you know the spiel for that stuff. It'll come back when it comes back. Maybe it'll come back when we're
somebody is listening to it. So I appreciate whoever out there is listening to it.
That is impressive. We have not updated podcasts and since I don't know when. If you do know, leave a comment and we'll pin you. But anyways, as usual, website stuff, website reviews are on our website, www.prairiegrownreviews.com. And with that, let's discuss Mando.
Okay, and just to mention, as always, it's spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode, go back, watch it, come back, and we will be discussing spoilers. So we're going to get into it right away with the first big thing. Obviously, it's a Mandalorian episode. Basically, it's not a Boba Fett episode, which in my opinion is its biggest positive because I've liked Mandalorian more, but it's also its biggest negative. It's dual. It's because so far with the quality, I've preferred Mandalorian to Boba Fett in the show overall so far. But at the same time, this is Boba Fett's show, and we don't even see him except in the previously on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, can we even call it Mando anymore? I think he got like rejected from the religion technically, isn't he? Like, isn't he not a Mandalorian anymore?
Because the other Mandalorians that take their helmets off still call themselves Mandalorians technically.
He got kicked out of his cultist
it's just different,
sect of Mandalorians.
Yeah, they have a word for it.
Different tribes. I can't remember.
Something like that. It means that's what it means, right? But yeah. So
he got kicked out of the Puritists, but he's still like technically Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He's Mandalorian raised, so whether or not they kick him out, he's still Mandalorian.
Very important to answer this text I just got from Nat. Seb's so quiet today because it's past quiet hour. It's quiet hours in his dorm. That's for sure what it is. So he's not trying to get a noise complaint. So if you guys appreciate the quietness, we'll film it this time moving forward. I don't know how I feel about this one.
Appreciate the quietness. My neighbors just banged on my wall 3 times because I was too loud in the first 2 seconds. Because we usually don't film at this time. So he was quite pissed.
That's so awesome. I don't know how I feel about this.
Sleeps at 11 though. Like I don't know any student who would.
I don't know, man. But I mean, this has happened multiple times through both semesters.
That's also
and
true.
Just bang back.
I don't want to start a fight.
He
isn't reported officially. Okay,
not
let's
important.
wrap up.
Not important.
Like, social.
Not
like,
important.
Anyways.
Okay, back to the show. So where was Nat going with this? Someone was saying something while I was getting distracted.
I don't know, but anyways, I thought about, but what's it called? So when Mando uses the Darksaber, do you think it like physically gets heavier, or is it like the responsibility that makes him think it's getting heavier? Like I don't know, that whole thing.
I think it physically gets heavier.
But how? Like I know it's Star Wars, but like,
I would say
because the way.
I would say it probably physically gets heavier. That's my thoughts. Okay.
Well, like you see, as the farther he goes fighting with it in the first scene and also in the later scenes, his he like keeps it lower and lower to the ground. The later and later it is, or the later in the fight it is.
Yep.
Later in the fight it is. But I think what's happening is Mando is like, because he has no connection to the Force. This was created by a Jedi who is also a Mandalorian. Most lightsabers are Force used, and this is even different among lightsabers. Like this
Yep.
is not a normal lightsaber. It doesn't have a normal kyber crystal, which create the lightsabers, as it's black and it's got this different materialistic look to it. Like it's got like
Right.
almost like little patches of white in the black, which most lightsabers are a solid color. So you look at that and you see he has no connection to the Force. He's just trying to use brute force. And there have been non-Force users who have used lightsabers successfully, but it requires training. Now I'm going to bring up a theory here because this episode ends with Mando saying, I got to go visit a little friend. So obviously he's going to visit Grogu. Now, do we see this? Is this kind of skipped over and shown in season 3 of Mando? Who knows? But we're most likely, I'd say we see it because money, 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 money. Grogu makes money, 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 money. And putting him in your show makes money, 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 money. And I bet
then
we see him.
Then we got to come back to my overarching point. Why would we see him in this? Why?
I don't know.
Why? Why does I'm gonna be honest. Personally, I love this episode. I thought it was super entertaining. But why in the world does it exist?
Well, because now this
we spent an entire episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and we didn't see or reference. We didn't even reference Boba Fett one time.
Now I've got a few behind the scenes explanations as to why. Now I'm just gonna go explain them. So quickly, what happened is kind of when they were originally going to do Mando season 2, Mando season 3, but there was some behind the scenes. Book of Boba Fett was never going to be a show, at least not originally. But there was behind the scenes drama, and then they decided to do. But they referenced Book of Boba Fett throughout as Mando 2.5. So it was still going to have heavy connections to the Mando, and Mando was their lead star in this universe they were creating within the Star Wars universe. So Mando was like everyone theorized he'd pop up in the show, and he does. But I think the reason they did this is because they probably this story, the Book of Boba Fett. If you look at when it had like less than a year development filming it, so who knows if they had enough to fill up 7 episodes, but they didn't want to do 6. So they throw in this. That's my one theory. My other theory is just that they felt that they want to tie Boba Fett back to Mando so they can keep making these connections throughout their different shows. So like Boba Fett can cross over Mando season 3 again. So they wanted to give you a good like what's going on with Mando episode before Mando comes back for his own show where he's the lead starring Grogu and Mando again, which I don't think is fair to Boba Fett. Trust me, I'm not happy with it either. That was my first complaint for this episode. As much as I love it, it's still, I don't think, right to do this to Boba Fett. But if I had to justify a reason, I would say it's because it wasn't originally planned. Like apparently Pedro Pascal, who plays the Mandalorian, he's not even in the suit for this episode. It's his stunt double and he just recorded the lines. Like, so this was not, everything with this episode I think was intentionally but not intentionally done. Like
it kind of just sort of feels that way because like we are past the point of calling it a Mando pop-in because
he had a whole episode.
He now has more screen time than a good portion of the characters we saw through the first 4 episodes.
Besides Boba and Fennec.
Exactly, right? And then the thing, I think it's missing really one key element to make it make sense. There's not one connection.
Well, except Fennec at the end being like,
right at the very end. Right at the very end.
2 minutes before the credits.
But you could have just had that. That could have been all you had, and you would have had just as much impact on this show.
Yeah.
The rest
you wouldn't have needed
the rest that you saw doesn't impact this show at least yet, and it probably won't at all, other than maybe him having a ship. But there's no way the rest of it connects at all. Because it's just
it doesn't.
Mando. There's no way it touches this show. Right? Cool episode. Kind of feels like filler and a little bit of a waste of time for this series.
Okay, well, if this is here now, how is season 3 of Mando? Okay, well, this whole episode is about Mando. Let's discuss a bit of Mando. But like, how is season 3 of Mando going to start now if this is in Book of Boba Fett? Like,
well, the big thing I think
go back.
I think it hinges on what they do next week. Do we see even more Mando? Or do we go straight
That's
back to
true.
Boba? Like, what's the
'Cause if
plan
we
here?
see
Like
more
Seb was saying
Mando,
at the start,
I think,
what happens with Grogu? Do we go see Grogu?
yeah,
I think
it's
if we go see
then what's
Grogu,
season
we have
3 then?
officially derailed this entire show entirely. So,
True.
which is why
Yeah.
I don't think we could
Right.
do
season
that.
3, Matt, is my theory is season 3 will as we've expected entirely be like taking back Mandalore with the help of Grogu. But here's the thing.
Yep.
The best now, it's looking more likely we'd see Luke Skywalker in Boba Fett than we'll see Han Solo. Because if Grogu's in the show, Luke's right
man.
beside
I
him.
would bet you $1 gazillion that Grogu is not in this show.
Oh, do you
Fine.
want to do another
I'm-
bag bet? We can do another bag bet.
No, I'm not
have-
doing a
We
bag
only
bet,
have
but
2 episodes left. And in my mind, it would be the biggest mistake of all time to bring that much stuff from Mando into the. We have literally nothing set up for the finale right now.
no,
We
I
have
agree. I
no
don't think they
legs.
should.
We have no legs for an episode 7, so we need to do something story related in episode 6. And if we spend, because you can't spend 2 minutes going to get Grogu.
No, that's
can't
got to
just
be at least a 10-minute thing.
You can't just be like, oh, Grogu's here. And why does Luke let him go? And how does
Or does
Mando
Luke come
find
with
him?
him?
Or does Luke come with him? Right? Like that's like
How's
20
the next
minutes.
episode gonna start then, right?
I don't know.
No,
Like,
that's
are
the
they just
thing.
gonna
Maybe
cut
we
to,
just
oh,
pop.
I
guys,
think they're
we're
just gonna
fighting
skip
now.
that. I think they're just gonna hop
They
over
have
that.
to.
I'd
And he's
agree.
gonna come
I'd
back.
agree. Yeah, that's
But-
kind
Have
of what
to,
I think
right?
they should do. I just don't
But-
know if they will because of money.
That's fair. And the other thing is you can't skip it if he brings anybody back.
No.
You can't just all of a sudden have Luke Skywalker start episode 6, or like Grogu start episode 6,
No.
or both of them, or somehow Han Solo, which I think is impossible. But we'll
I
just
think it's
throw it out there.
impossible at this point.
We'll just throw it
but-
out there. If you start with anybody, they got to be introduced first. And we, knowing Disney, we probably only have 40 minutes next week, maybe 45. If
I'd
that.
say at most we have 50 because I think they'll do an hour-long finale because they've just kind of
Maybe.
Well,
with
if
their
they
have
have
enough
enough
stuff.
runtime
finale,
of the
they're
show.
not
They have
gonna
enough
give that much
stuff.
time for the build up. Like I think the past few
I don't know.
series we've watched, they never really have a big build up episode. It's like usually short and sweet, and the finale is like an hour long, right? So like next
So,
episode is probably not gonna
Probably
be that
not
long.
Yeah, I think I
No.
think the finale should be close to
The
an
on-
hour. Do we have enough stuff to do that? I don't know.
The whole war will be a whole episode.
Oh,
in
I
and of
think we
itself.
do. We have. They've promised. They've promised Chrysanthemum, the Wookiee fighting. They promised riding a Rancor. They promised to fight with the Pikes. We still need the Pike gang to get their like big moments,
all
proof
one
that they were
episode.
worth it. I know that's why
already had
there's
their
enough
moment
to.
of proof though. I thought
We
that was
have
the whole
So
sketching.
much stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
then we still gotta. Boba has to like everyone has to accept him as the
That
new
probably happens
Prime
at the
Lord
very
of
end.
Tatooine.
It
Yeah.
has to get that.
That's probably how we end. And then something to do with Mando to end it.
Yeah.
So we
Mhm.
really actually don't have time to introduce any more of Mando's story, honestly.
No, I don't. I don't think they should. I really hope they don't, just because this is Boba's show.
break it.
Leave that for.
Yeah.
But I kind of could see them doing that, just because when
Yeah.
Luke showed up at the end of season 2, man, there were people crying their eyes out on YouTube about it. So
Yep, I could see it. I don't want to see it.
no, but,
But I could see
the
it.
reason Luke, I saw this in a few videos after watching the episode.
Yep.
Mando needs someone to teach him how to use a lightsaber. He's got
Yep.
the dark
Well,
saber.
that could,
Luke would
that
be,
could be the start.
but
of
I think that
season
should be in
3,
Mando season 3. I agree.
right?
That is no business
agree.
in this
That's a
show.
This shouldn't.
What
That should
does
be in
the
this
dark
show.
saber have to do with Boba? Like he
Nothing.
could care
Well,
less.
He's
Right,
not
he
even
could care
technically.
less.
Well, no, he is a Mandalorian, but only because like his dad was trained by Mandalorians. So
Yep.
it's like he's de facto Mandalorian, but he doesn't care about the fight for Mandalore. He said that in season 2 of Mando.
Yep.
But okay, getting into more about this actual episode. Few just Easter egg things. The droid that we saw, that I can't remember the mechanic from Tatooine, the one
Oh,
she
I have
was like
stuff
trying
about
to
her too.
save.
Oh,
That was a BD droid, which is from Jedi Fallen Order. For those of you, I know you guys played
I
it a
thought I
little bit, but
recognized it.
yeah, that's Cal Kestis, the Jedi in that game. That's his companion who's on his shoulder all the time. I
cool.
still haven't beaten that game. Maybe if I beat it, I'll do a YouTube video reviewing the story. Well, it's
He said
something.
that
Maybe an
video is
article.
not coming
We'll
out for a
figure out.
few years.
I know. 3
This
years.
guy can't
It's
even
okay.
play Pokemon, and you think he's gonna beat Jedi Fallen Order?
I gotta beat it before the sequel comes out. They just announced the sequel yesterday. So
Good. So you have like 3
3
years.
years. Yeah, 3 years. Okay.
That's sad. It should not take 3 years. But anyways, carry on.
No, okay. The next thing I want to discuss is the New Republic. So we see 2 more starfighter or 2 X-wings, which one of them was the same pilot from the second season of Mando.
From
who'd
what
stopped
we
him.
considered the worst episode of the season.
Well, he was
Yeah.
in a few episodes. But
He
yeah,
made
he
his
was
debut in that one.
introduced. Yeah,
His debut
but,
was in the stupid like ice planet one. That
Ice
was-
Spider. Ice
Oh,
Spider.
ho, ho, ho.
That was entertaining.
It was
It was
entertaining. It
But
just had
made
no plot
sense.
relevance.
It's like this episode for this like season of
Yeah.
Star Wars essentially.
Yep.
Okay. What I wanted to discuss about them is I'm really interested to see the New Republic, like how they're being depicted here. Like
Oh,
they seem like so disorganized still. Like this
Yep.
is 5
Oh,
years after
100%.
Return of the Jedi, but
But 5
they don't
years is
even know
not that
about
long,
these
right?
spice runners, the spice runners, the
Pikes.
pikes on Tatooine,
Mhm.
and they barely chased after Mando in his new
They
Naboo
didn't.
starfighter.
I mean,
like they didn't
They
care.
couldn't, though.
What would they do?
No, they
right?
couldn't have done
There's-
anything. But they like he didn't go into hyperspace, so he's going to be around the system still. They just had to like
But
wait
they have better
or
things
go
to do
back
though.
on. They do,
What-
but like I'm just curious because okay, we know in the sequel trilogy, which I know you guys haven't seen yet, but we'll review this May for Star Wars month or May the 4th.
great.
There's 3 movies left in the Skywalker. But in the sequels, the New Republic eventually falls. That's not a big spoiler because obviously a bad guy has to rise, and there's so yes, the New Republic eventually falls. But I'm just wondering if they're trying to plant the seeds. They weren't the best establishment from the beginning, even though Luke, Leia, and Han were a big part of like establishing the New Republic. Maybe they're still like not as great as they should be because behind them are a bunch of politicians who have agendas and might make a bunch of mistakes. Just because Luke and Leia and Han have good intentions,
Doesn't mean they
establishing
got
this and
carried
Chewie
through.
I mean, like
Doesn't-
space is
exactly.
huge, right? Like there's only so much.
It's it's a galaxy. It's not like a planet. It's not 2 planets. It's a galaxy. So like because Tatooine's in the outer rims. So like who knows
Who's
how
gonna do
far
that?
the outer rims are from Coruscant, which is where we saw in the prequels the Republic was headquartered, and I'm pretty sure that's where the New Republic headquarters itself too,
Yeah, I think
is
so.
back on Coruscant. But
Mhm.
other reference when Mando was flying his Naboo, and Naboo, that's where Queen Amidala,
Yep.
Anakin or Padme, that she was Queen of Naboo, so her starcraft, but that was her starfighter style. But when he was flying it through those canyons, it most likely would have been the same canyons that Anakin did the pod racing through.
That's what
So
I was
just a
thinking.
reference.
Yep.
So that's just a little Easter egg, not really big pertinence, but I just thought it'd be fun to bring up. But no, that was like really. Oh, also one more thing, the opening, I felt why had Mando in his first scene is more brutal than Boba's been in 4 episodes.
Yeah,
True.
that makes sense.
Oh,
I
can we
know
also talk about that first scene of
But
how like,
Boba's supposed to be this badass crime lord, and I know he's trying to rule with respect.
That's not
Boba's
really
been,
the
like,
Boba we've
injured, though.
seen.
but
not
he's
really the
old
Boba we've
now,
seen
right?
so
Well, he was
far.
injured,
He's old. He's
And-
injured.
but that's the
Old is
reputation he's trying to like hold on to.
But he's old.
He's really not,
I
though.
don't think so. I think
He's
he's
really-
more
he's
trying.
been-
He's trying to earn respect. If
he's
anything, he's not.
very much so, because he's had
Not-
many
not through fear.
opportunities to rule through fear, and he's passed time and time again without
That's the whole
fail.
thing right now, right?
There's
Like,
been
he
no
wants
hesitation. He
people to
hasn't
be
even
safe.
thought about it.
He does want to rule with respect.
There
Mhm.
is
Okay,
no
maybe it's
iron
just I
fist at
want
all.
to see Boba kill a few people.
You'll get that.
I mean, don't we
You
all?
should.
We'll get that. We'll get that in, like next 2
Well,
episodes.
we
don't worry.
better. That's all I'm
But, like,
saying. Is
better
like
see
Okay,
some
well,
pikes get
talking
Mando
about that first scene.
was
I'm gonna
based
say
off
something.
of Boba Fett.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Mando is like okay, but not say your thing. But Mando
I was
is
gonna
like what Boba was going to be in the original trilogy. Like even though he
Yep.
didn't get a huge role, that's the
Well, yeah,
reputation
makes
he's
sense,
supposed to have.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say Mando got like almost wrecked that whole fight. I mean, it's the whole dark saber thing, but like, I'm
Yeah, he cut his
surprised he
own
didn't.
leg.
I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't go Beskar, like his back to his spear. I know, like we find out that you don't usually make weapons out of Beskar, but like still, like I don't know if you're struggling so much, I don't know why he didn't go with
Because he's
something more
trying to earn it.
familiar.
Because he didn't want it, but now he has it. He's kind of stuck with it. So he's got to try and earn it. As a Mandalorian, it's kind of by creed, he has to. So he's trying to
Do
use
you
it.
think those like the wound instantly cauterized when he like sliced everyone up? Like, is it that hot where like just sliced straight through? There's no blood or anything, just like straight, just.
I would assume so.
Me too. That's what I would assume as well.
Yep. It's a gnarly little thing that becomes
So
much bigger.
theories for next week, even though we have no idea what, like I'm assuming we open with Boba right away, and then we see probably just Mando come back and be like, hey, I visited Grogu. And then that's like, but he does not bring Grogu back.
All I love about this entire episode is that there is really no good way to mesh it to next week.
I mean, well, I guess we'll find out next week, but like,
yeah, we'll find out.
Like
Yeah,
51
it
minutes, and it's gonna be really, really hard unless you start the episode with Mando to seamlessly.
Well, no, you don't. Like because it would be hard to be seamless. So what you do is you just do a jump cut to Boba, and then you just have Mando coming back. Maybe Fennec goes with him to visit Grogu, and then you have them both coming back.
see,
and
then this whole
Boba's
episode
there.
did need to happen. That's the whole.
No, that's true.
This is legit
Then
a
you
filler episode.
wasted an entire week.
Yeah, I know it's rough, but I think that's kind of our only two
Who would have
options because
thought
I
there's
don't
filler
think they should
episodes in a Disney show like this?
Well,
Like who
in a
would have
7-episode season. Well, I mean,
Okay.
technically, that episode of
Man,
Boba
this is as
or
if
Mando.
this is as if we went
But
like
that
in
still applied to
WandaVision,
that
all of a sudden, like cut to someone
individual
else.
show. This one is like
Well,
steps
no, okay,
away
but
from the show for the time being.
I did. Someone did bring this up, and this actually, I remember loving this episode when it came out. But WandaVision had that episode where they kind of all of a sudden, after the first 3, they peeled back and they were like, "Here's Monica Rambeau and Jimmy Woo and Darcy."
That's within,
and
but that's within the like
That
the
was
series. Like,
No,
that
very
makes sense.
pertinent to
It
that
was very
television
pertinent.
show.
But it was flashing to a different character where you didn't see Wanda and
But
Vision till
that-
the end.
Those were
It was pertinent.
very
It was
pertinent
pertinent.
characters
I
in that
know
show.
they were.
Mando
They were. That's
was
the
only
difference.
supposed to be like a little piece.
Mando
That's not
has
even
his own
close to the
show.
same thing.
He has his own show, right? Like, he
Wherever
already has
you
his own
found
show.
I
that,
want
you
Jimmy Woo.
You should give us the idea whoever said that, because that is wrong. That is dead
Oh.
wrong. Ain't nobody
Yeah,
coming
Like,
for WandaVision.
if
What a great
if
show
you
that
wanted to
was.
make a good
It
comparison,
was a great
it's as
show.
if we did a WandaVision like series and all of a sudden jumped to like Falcon for like a week and then came
That's
back.
true. That's
Or
true.
like Loki would make more sense in that case. But like, if we jump to something like that, or like, we'll throw in like the whole Doctor Strange stuff. Yeah, let's throw in him for like a week and then
Yeah,
come back.
He was
It'd be
supposed to be in the
It'd be
show.
like if we spent an entire episode looking just at Doctor Strange without any connections to WandaVision except right at the very end.
Yeah. Apparently, a little off topic for you Star Wars fans, but you Marvel fans might know that WandaVision, the commercials were originally going to be Doctor Strange trying to break into Wanda's psyche.
Yep.
They changed that, and I think it was for the better to give it a more Wanda focused centric
Well,
feel.
that was just because the movie got moved, right? Just because it got bumped like a year.
It got bumped a year, but also they wanted to give it more. They didn't want it to be
Well, they
like.
also wanted to keep the focus on Wanda instead.
Yeah,
of Doctor
exactly.
Strange.
That's it. Like they wanted it to be Wanda's psyche, her damage. They didn't want like someone else coming in to fix everything for her. That sense of
Star Wars brings in Mando.
which, yes, and like many people have joked online, the best episode of Mando or Boba Fett has seemed to not have Boba Fett in
Boba
it,
Fett.
which is a little sad. And yes, I would say this has been my favorite episode of the season, which I know I said every week.
Totally, but
it's
it's
just
no
it's the
purpose,
best one.
though. Like
It was so
had
good, but
everything of Mando that like anything you want out of a Star Wars show that wasn't focused on their character. Like this is why we love Mando so much. It's because it's so like captivating the whole way through.
yeah,
We weren't like struck with like
so
random
much
like
lore.
backstories
but it
and
is
like
it's
like-
so much fun. But it is absolutely the black
It's-
sheep in this fight.
Yeah,
It was
it's
100%
just
it.
it's like, why did we do this? And I hope they connect it, but if they don't, it's gonna look kind of dumb, especially because you only have 7 episodes. And I mean, Disney can't do longer seasons because this shit just costs so much for them. Like per episode, they're spending more than like a typical than some movies might.
Yep.
So like that's just the problem. You can't do many more episodes at this high a budget.
Nope.
trying to make it movie
Man,
realistic.
they could have saved money and not done this episode at all.
I know,
and
that's-
just slapped
or, like,
it onto
Done
Man,
something
if we
else.
see
Yeah.
this episode in Mando season
No, we
3
won't.
as the first episode, I'm gonna be like, man,
We might see.
We'll see
We'll see
flashes about
flashbacks,
it, but we
but,
won't
like,
see it. No.
man, this
Shouldn't.
man, this is such a good opening episode for Mando season 3 though. Like
Totally.
it's perfect for that. Which is
Yeah.
kind of odd that it's midway through Boba Fett, but
Yeah,
whatever.
that's weird.
It is weird. It's slightly, it's slightly inconsistent, but also they have had this. Well, yeah, Book of Boba Fett wasn't originally planned, or at least not at this stage, but they still have a plan of what they want Mando's journey and this kind of little section of the Star Wars universe to be. So I trust in Jon Favreau. I mean, he did start up the first Iron Man, and Dave Filoni, who's done all the animated Star Wars shows like Clone Wars and Bad Batch and Rebels, which are quite popular.
Yep.
So I trust that they have a good plan, and I just hope that next week proves us wrong, that they did have a reason for this being here. But we'll see.
Totally.
We will see.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I think
about it.
that's all for this week. I don't think there's anything else. So I just like to remind you guys to, hit that subscribe button and everything else Nat already brought up, and from everyone here at the Prairie Grown Reviews team. See you guys next time.